I'm a true psychopath. When you're lost, take your trust. That's me. That's so sick. I'm a fraud, call me a liar. A true psycho. Woo. I'm a fraud, call me a liar. A true psychopath, don't love me. When you're lost, take your trust. Yeah, that's me. Oh, that's me, that's me, that's me. Yes, I'm a fraud. Call me a liar. A true psychopath.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Oh, I don't like this. Hold on just a second. Okay, that's better. Hi, you guys. It's been so long. I feel like it's been ever too long. First of all, welcome in, everyone. And let me say thank you to Shelly Bean, who gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Salty C, thank you so much for being a member for 12 months. Laying in bed, I'll be listening. And Shelly Bean, a member for a month. There was somebody that joined memberships right before the live started, and I'm going to try to find it so I can thank them too. Vicky, thank you so much. Welcome to memberships. I appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Okay, so Terry Whitaker, that would be Blood Red Sun. It's called Psychopath by Blood Red Sun. Okay. So before we get started, I just have a few little housekeeping things to go over just really briefly before we get into the thing we need to get into. First and foremost, I will be dropping a link. This is Nadi's wax melts. Believe me, trust me, if you've never listened to anything I've said before, please listen to this. She has the absolute best wax melts ever. Okay, I just ordered some. The packaging is impeccable. It's very cute. It's personalized for you. And she's got great Christmas scents. I am burning Ho Ho Hopeful. I hope I said that right. I got my package today and I was super excited, and the Ho Ho is what got me. So I was like, let me burn the Ho Ho Hopeful. It's like baking sugar cookies, and it smells exactly like baking sugar cookies. The house smells delicious. I'm super excited. Oh, wow. Thank you, Vicky. That's so sweet of you. I appreciate that so much. Okay. Then the other thing that I want to share with you guys is I am up on Patreon now. I am famous. No, just kidding. I've made it. I'm on the Patreons. No, I'm not famous or anything like that. I just finally decided to do it. And what I did on the Patreon is combine the reality TV with the true crime. And the reason that I did that is because I didn't want to create two separate Patreons, number one. And number two, I figured that the best way to discuss reality TV is to show clips, and it's easier to show clips on Patreon than it is on a regular YouTube channel. So I will not be monetizing the second um, channel, and I also wanted there's some documentaries that I want to do that are probably better done through Patreon, more for a more select audience. This way I can do the documentary the way that it needs to be done, and show the things that need to be shown, talk about the things that need to be shown without worrying about violating YouTube's terms of service. So I want to do my first Patreon live on Saturday. And what I'll do is it'll just be like a chill thing. It's probably not going to necessarily be just true crime or just like reality TV, but probably just covering quite a bit, and just talking and chilling out with my friends. So that's what I wanted to do Saturday. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I think that's it. Oh, no, that's not it. I know that Charlie Adelson, which is Donna Adelson's mom, is sentenced tomorrow. I don't want to stream it live. I am so worried after what happened with our sweet Allie about reused content. So I'm going to watch it, of course. And but when we talk about it tomorrow night, because that's what I plan to talk about. When we talk about it tomorrow night, I can sort of get to the skip through it a little bit, have an idea where the good timestamps are. Do you know what I mean? Because the one thing that I never want to cut short is the victim impact statements. I like to play those completely in their entirety. And like I said, I'm very worried about that whole, reuse content situation. So if I can skip around through the rest of the hearing, then I can play the the other stuff that I want to play. Not the other stuff. Hold on, I'm just distracted for a second. I can play the victim impact statements in their entirety without having to worry. So that's what I want to do. Now, on to Donna Adelson. So last week, Donna, through her attorney, an emergency motion was filed, on her behalf. And there were some pretty serious allegations made in that motion. How many of you guys have, Teresa, it's okay, it was resolved. Just so you know, Teresa said, wait, what happened? Wait, what? What happened to Allie? When she got demonetized back then, I really want to be very careful about the terms of service, because some of them are very straightforward, very easy to understand. Some of them are not. They're a little more vague. And so I just, out of an abundance of caution, I'm trying to make sure that I don't ever get hit with a reused content. It was a mistake on Allie on YouTube's part. I just want to make sure that it's resolved. It's been resolved. This happened last month. So yeah, it's one of those things. Anyway, so back to what we're here for. So her attorney filed I keep wanting to say emotional because I feel like some of it is a little emotional, but an emergency motion. Okay, basically, what that have you guys read that um, motion by chance? Put a one in the chat. I hate doing this, but I don't want to do a poll because sometimes if I change screens, it will cause issues. But put a one in the chat if you know what the emergency motion, if you know what it reads, if you know what was in it. If you don't know what was in it, put a two. If you know what was in it, or you don't know what was in it, and you would like me to read this uh, filing, put a three, and I'll read it to you guys. Oh, it's a mix. Let's see. Okay. It's a pretty good mix. I'm seeing only like a couple of threes. Oh, here come the threes now. Here come the threes. Okay. Hang on a second and I will I'm not going to read it verbatim every word, but I will hold on a second now. Let's see. Here we go. I'll pull it up for you guys. Give me just a second. She alleges some interesting things. Definitely, if there's any merit to a couple of them, it's a problem. For me personally, this is how I feel. At this point, she is considered innocent until proven guilty. Oh, here we go with these captchas. Let's hope I get it right the first time. And no, let's see. Okay. I never get these right. Hold on. Anyway, if any of these allegations are correct, it's troublesome because she is presumed innocent at this point, right? I personally feel like that there is a ton of credibility to these charges. I think that what we saw just in Charlie's trial, it's troublesome. What the? I didn't do it like this before. Hold on. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. What happened? All right, hold on. Anyway, obviously can't do two things at once. I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh, here we go. All right, let me see. All right. Let me find it. It's backwards. All right, here we go. Now we're good. Sorry, you guys. All right. So, all right. Basically, um, she's there are some troubling allegations in here. And like I started to say, she does have the presumption of innocence. So if any of these ones and any of these more serious allegations are true, it is troubling, and it is a cause for this isn't the right one. It's cause for concern, and it should be taken care of. Where is it, dadgummit? Hold on. It must be this one. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. All right. So let's share the screen and I will read it to you finally because that's where we want to be. All right. Let me see. I have a question over here. Okay, so Chicken Shites writes, did they play the wiretapped calls with her at Charlie's trial? I only saw the Wendy part of the trial. Yeah, they did. They did play wiretapped calls with her. They played also some recordings. They weren't exactly wiretaps. They were under surveillance, and the person that was surveilling them sat near them and recorded the conversation as if he overheard it, or like if you were just sitting there, right? He wasn't at the table. And those were troubling too. So anyway, but what had happened was, just to refresh everybody or people that are new to the case, Donna Adelson is the mother of Wendy Adelson and Charlie Adelson. Wendy Adelson was married to Florida State University law professor Dan Markel. They had a very, very contentious divorce. And Wendy, who is from the Miami area, when Dan and her married, they moved to Tallahassee because that's where Florida State University is. And after their divorce, Wendy wanted to move with the boys back down to the Miami area where her family was. And anyway, and Dan said no. So Charlie Adelson was dating this girl, Catherine McBanwa, at the time. And she was not married to, but she had children with, oh my gosh, what is his name? I'm totally drawing a blank on his name. This is so annoying to me. Anyway, and his friend, Luis Rivera. And so essentially what happened is Charlie arranged a hit on Dan Markel, and the hit was carried out. Okay. And Catherine McBanwa, Luis Rivera, and please help me see, were ended up all getting caught and arrested. Okay. And then last month, 2 months ago, was it last month in November, Charlie Adelson, who was the financier, he paid, and so did Donna, but his trial, Sigfredo Garcia, thank you. I knew there was a G. I don't know. My brain is wrong today. Anywho, so Sigfredo Garcia, who is Catherine McBanois, Katie McBanois, the father of her children. So last month, Charlie Adelson went on trial as part of the conspiracy because he was the bank, the money, okay? And he's the one that paid the hit. He had a very specific way that he kept his money. He stapled the bills together in $1,000 increments. Okay. So that was, that was interesting. It's very specific. Not very many people do that. So anyway, he was found guilty last year, okay, of conspiracy and other crimes. So his defense, though, was that it was never a murder for hire plot. No. It was a shakedown. He was being blackmailed. He was being extorted. And by some unknown third party. I don't think it was hard for me to understand whether he knew it was Sigfredo behind it and Katie was just the middleman, because initially he didn't think that Katie was behind it at all, or involved at all in it, that she was a victim of it as well. And it was a bunch of baloney. The jury did not buy it, and they convicted him. Or sentencing is tomorrow, and they convicted him. So sentencing is tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Well, a week after he was found guilty, all of a sudden we get all these alerts, that Donna Adelson has been arrested, and she was arrested at the airport in Miami, and she had a plane ticket out of the country. Okay. And the reason that that law enforcement knew where she would be is because there were several calls between Charlie Adelson and his mother, Donna, where basically that she was making plans and arrangements. Now, here's my thing with that whole scenario. Now, Donna, I do not believe was at the trial, but I mean, it was broadcast, it was streamed, so surely she watched it, right? So surely she was aware about the wiretaps that were played, et cetera, right? So what does she do? She talks about plans on a call that starts out telling you you're being recorded. Okay? I don't understand. I don't know if she just thought, if she was just like YOLO. Okay. But clearly she wasn't. Thanks, Jesse. Clearly, she wasn't thinking, or she probably would have not done that. Hang on a second, you guys. Hang on just a second. I'm sorry. This is important. Okay. Anyway, so, they pick her up. All right. Well, the warrant for her arrest is out of Leon County, which is Tallahassee. Okay. Hey, search and rescue canine mom. Good to see you, babe. So, so then she's got to chill at the Miami Dade County jail, right? While she's waiting to be. I mean, it is technically an extradition, but it's not like an extradition the way we typically think about it. All right, so they have to then drive from the Miami-Dade area, or that county jail, up to Tallahassee. It's like, I don't know, like a 6-hour drive or something like that. It's like super long. And listen, I'm not a big fan of car rides just in general. I can do like maybe 2-3 hours. I mean, if I have to, I can do an 8-hour car ride. It's not my favorite thing to do, but let me just say this. There is no way that can you imagine having to do that car ride in the, in a police transport? No, thank you. No me gusta. Oh, I think this is perfect to keep in the chat, Mayla's mom, that your Roddy is throwing a fit because you took her Christmas sweater off. Well, yeah. So anyway, that's the deal. And this is what she says occurred. Okay. Not this one, Jen. Come on, learn. I am really rusty, blah, blah, blah. All right. So here we go. Emergency motion to enjoin the jail for an independent psychological evaluation or release to house arrest. Okay. Donna Sue Adelson, pursuant to the United States Constitution, hereby moves this court to enjoin Leon County Jail from subjecting her to her current conditions of confinement and direct the Leon County Jail to place Donna in a unit where she can prepare for trial, speak to her family, or conduct an independent psychological evaluation in order to be placed in a different unit where she can properly prepare for trial and speak to her family. Alternatively, she requests to be released on house arrest, coupled with standard conditions of pretrial release, and in support thereof states as follows. All right, so this goes on to explain when she was arrested in Miami on November 13th. The evidence against Donna is circumstantial at best. While Donna has been charged with a crime, there is a presumption of innocence in this country. That is correct. Donna is entitled to a fair trial, has a right to counsel, and a right against cruel and unusual punishment. To date, all of Donna's rights have been violated despite the presumption of innocence in place. All right. On November 13th, 2023, Donna was arrested and transported to TGK jail in Miami-Dade County. Upon arrival at TGK jail, Donna was placed in a psychiatric unit because of the charges against her. She was placed in an isolation cell with a small sink, mattress on the floor, blanket, and toilet. Donna did not have access to any clothes, cups, silverware, books, blankets, or toiletries, and was only permitted to shower once. Although she had access to counsel, she was not permitted to use the phone to contact family members. Following 2 psychiatric evaluations, Donna was cleared within 96 hours of her arrest and placed in general population, where she was able to contact her family and attorney. Donna's mental state has not changed since the determination by the psychiatrist at TGK Miami. Transportation to Leon County Jail. On November 20th, 2023, around noon, Donna was picked up from TGK Jail and transported to Leon County Jail. Her transporters placed her in the back of the transport vehicle with no water. Several hours into the journey, Donna tried to get the attention of officers because she needed water and a restroom stop, but she was not able to get their attention. Approximately 4 to 5 hours into the trip, when the officers finally checked on her, Donna was shaking, dehydrated, and unable to stand up or move. As a result, the officers had to call paramedics to a rest stop. All right. Upon arrival at the Leon County Jail, officials put her in the infirmary under direct observation. She was then placed in a small solitary unit with a toilet, a sink, a mattress on the floor, and a dirty blanket. She has requested a book or Bible, but has not been given anything and has been forced to eat her food with her hands. Okay, let's just take a moment here to reflect on what we've read and unpack this just a little bit. Okay. I don't know how they know that the blanket is dirty, number one. Are you assuming the blanket is dirty because it's in jail and jails aren't the cleanest places, and so therefore the blanket by default must be dirty? Or is there substance to this claim? Then the other thing, uh, having to eat food with her hands. Okay. This may not be a big deal, depending on what the food is. If it is a sandwich, most people eat sandwiches with their hands. If it is spaghetti, I can understand the issue. We don't know yet. I'm sure we'll find out today when I play the hearing. Okay. The day after arriving at the Leon County Jail, one of the jail's mental health officials began questioning Donna about medication she was taking before she was arrested. Donna felt uncomfortable during the interaction because she could not see the official's face and wanted to verify that they were, in fact, a healthcare professional. But the official would not verify. When Donna made her concerns known, the official told Donna that Donna, quote, is a fancy white lady who murdered her son and now thinks she has rights, end quote. The official joked with the other guards about this outside of Donna's door. The official then said that Donna will, quote, learn that fancy white lady murderers have no rights here, end quote, and told Donna, quote, do you see where you are and do you see where I am? I am out here because I am not a murderer, end quote. Since that interaction, some of the jail staff have treated Donna with cruelty. She is sometimes denied her necessary blood pressure medication, and she has been prevented from showering for days at a time. In the 15 days that Donna has been at Leon County Jail, she has only been permitted to call her husband once on November 28, 2023, for approximately 5 minutes while guards stood watch. It was only with the help and intervention of the state that this call took place. Donna has not been permitted to call her counsel at all. All right. Now, I will say this: if the allegations about the jail official are true, that should be dealt with. That's not professional, and it should be dealt with. And I'm sure that they will deal with it. Okay. I'm a little curious about how the council knows all of this, things that are going on, if she's only been allowed to make one call to her husband, right? So presumably it's Harvey who's relaying this to the attorney since she's not been allowed to call her counsel. Or it's just real fuzzy, right? So I'm curious about this, if she got all of this out in the 5-minute phone call, or maybe she wrote a letter. I don't know. It's whatever. I don't understand it. It sounds a little extra. I'm not going to lie. At one point, a psychiatrist working at the jail told Donna that she does not belong in the solitary unit, and another jail official also told Donna the same thing. As a result of these cruel and inhumane conditions, Donna is becoming weaker and weaker every day. And because she does not have phone access, it has been impossible for her to contact her counsel or take part in her defense. Despite repeated attempts to call the jail, set up video visitation, and or set up in-person visitation, undersigned counsel has been unable to communicate with Donna since her transport to Leon County Jail. Both undersigned counsel and state have tried to get help from the jail with no amendment. Okay, so then these are all the, case law. Okay. All right, so that's what they're alleging. Now, let us go over to the YouTubes. One moment, please. Oops. And let's see about all of that. Oh my goodness. Black Swan, thank you so much. Black Swan gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. That was incredibly generous. And Black Swan became a member to the 50-1100 Club. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay. I appreciate that so much. You guys are great. Let me just do the YouTube thing really quick and then get it all set up for us. And then if there's, then I'll check out the chat so I can see if you guys have any questions or you guys, there's comments and stuff. Also, but while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to tell you guys too that, at some point this week, probably not tomorrow because that's going to be Charlie Adelson, but maybe Wednesday. I'm going to do a members only live, and it will be an open panel because I would really, really like to hear from you guys. And I feel like doing it members only helps there be not such a potential for people getting up on the coming up backstage and potentially showing things that should not be shown that ain't nobody want to see or hear. You know what I'm saying? All right, hold on a second. Here we go. This is what I wanted. All right, so let me get over here and get this all set up, and then we'll I'm going to check the chat. But I do want to hear from you guys, and I think that would be like a cool way to do it. Oh boy, let me. All right, hold on. Now, there are some, obviously, this is, they're going to relay in this things that Donna said on the phone call to Charlie. And so they might be triggering. I want to warn everybody of that now because I think there's some self-harm talk, but this is true crime. And so I just, I'm not going to, I can't censor it. I'm going to play it. But I just want to, give you guys a heads up in case, Christmas is a hard time of year, or the holidays in general are a hard time. So take care of yourself and yourselves. And, if you got a dip, I understand. I ain't going to judge. All right. So let me get over here to the chat and see what's going on. Oh, wow. Okay, Mela, that's cool. I'm definitely see MK. Yeah. Oh, I'll definitely check that out. I will check out both of those streams. I enjoy both of those channels, and so I will absolutely check those out. I debated on whether to even go live tonight about this, just because I knew there were some really fantastic channels that were going to cover it. And I wanted to watch, but I also really wanted to talk and to connect with you guys. And so I felt like I'll just watch them later. You know how it goes. All right, you guys ready to hear this? Right, let me get over here. Let me make this big. Let me turn on the closed captioning. MK, I expect you to show up. MK Lynn, and I expect you to click that link. Just kidding. You don't have to click that link if you don't want to. But it'd be a lot cooler if you did. All right, are we ready? Let me add it to the stage. I don't know why it says that. Add to stage. That seems a little extra even for you, StreamYard. All right. I'm gonna, I gotta let Nestor out. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this, probably like, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then then I'll be back. All right, here we go.
All rise.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that, babe.
Good afternoon. Everyone can be seated.
Judge.
All right, here we go.
Before we get going, I'm going to log into Zoom. I believe Ms. Keppelman, the alleged victim's family, is waiting to view the proceedings on Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me get signed in. And from there, we'll get started. All right, we're here this afternoon in state of Florida versus Donna Adelson, 2023 CF 3226. Counsel of record as to each party may make their appearances.
Georgia Kappelman and Sarah Catherine Dugan for the state.
Marisol Descalzo on behalf of Donna Adelson, who's present in court and seated to my left.
Mr. Pimentel, Mr. Toomey, go ahead.
Greg Toomey, Your Honor, for both the Sheriff's Office and, yes, sir, the medical provider in jail.
Sheriff's Office General Counsel James Finney.
All right. For everyone that is observing on Zoom, please do not interfere with the hearing. Of course, you may observe as to everything that takes place. Mr. Scalzo, I've reviewed your emergency motion to enjoin the jail. Is there any further argument or testimony that you wish to take in support of your motion?
Your Honor, I'll just add to supplement to my motion, which was filed last week, that we are now on day 22 of direct observation. Mrs. Adelson continues unable to participate in her defense. She's not permitted any papers. I cannot mail her anything. I did have a call with her on Friday, but only because Mrs. Kappelman facilitated it for me. And on that call, it was not a private call. Ms. Adelson was forced to put me on speakerphone with guards listening. There is just no way that Mrs. Adelson can prepare for her defense in this manner.
All right, there is one question that I had specifically as to this issue. And I noticed within your pleading that you had quotes from your client and also some observations of what has been taking place with the correctional staff. Are you alleging that you have no ability to access your client or that there is limited contact with your client?
No, Your Honor, I'm not saying that there is no ability. The direct observations that are contained within my motion were not observed by myself, but Daniel Rashbaum, Charlie Adelson's attorney, had a visit with Charlie Adelson, and he was able to swap it out for Miss Donna Adelson the week of, I think, November 27th or 28th. So he was able to have that conversation with her in person. I've had a conversation with her, like I said, over the phone. I have been told that I can do a 60-minute increment visit with her in person. There is no video visitation ability. So I would say that my ability to meet with her is limited. It's not non-existent. However, my ability to share, for example, discovery, paperwork, the motion I filed with Miss Adelson is non-existent because she's not permitted to have paper.
Very well. We'll take up the other aspect of this in a moment, actually, which deals with the level of confinement and what is going on with it. Ms. Kappelman, does the state have any argument to make concerning this matter?
The state would defer to Mr. Toomey, who's here to speak on those matters that I think you're addressing right now.
Very well. Mr. Pimentel, Mr. Toomey.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
As far as this particular issue goes, there is no impediment to her speaking with her lawyer, seeing her lawyer, over and above using a tablet. The tablet has a headset that can be used as a ligature. Otherwise, he's free to enter the jail. Chief Mack is here. He's assured me that they can have visit. I don't understand the problem that is perceived, but there is no impediment to an attorney-client visitation. Am I correct?
The first question, we'll have Chief Mack give some testimony so that way we have a clear record. But the level of confinement and also the current restrictions that are in place, are these because there were at some point statements alluding to self-harm during the jail phone calls?
And at booking here. When she was booked into the jail here, she made a statement that she wanted to die. Now, before she was arrested in Miami, she also had a phone call with her son, who's obviously in jail here. 25-minute phone call. I've personally listened to it. She very clearly spoke about a plan to kill herself using sleeping pills.
One moment, Ms. Adelson, please keep your comments to yourself. Let your lawyer argue on your behalf.
Spoke of a plan to kill herself if she could not escape the country before arrest. That was known to the folks in this jail.
Okay. Here's the deal. When I was switching from listening on my phone to listening to the stream, my StreamYard is ahead. And so unfortunately I missed her utterance. And so we're all going to listen to it again because I want to hear it. So give me just a second and we're going to go back a few seconds so that we can hear what she said because it's part of my thumbnail. All right, here we go.
That are in place, are these because there were at some point statements alluding to self-harm during the jail phone calls?
And at booking here. When she was booked into the jail here, she made a statement that she wanted to die. Now, before she was arrested in Miami, she also had a phone call with her son, who's obviously in jail here. 25-minute phone call. I've personally listened to it. She very clearly spoke about a plan to kill herself using sleeping pills.
One moment, Ms. Adelson, please keep your comments to yourself. Let your lawyer argue on your behalf.
Spoke of a plan to kill herself if she could not escape the country before arrest. That was known to the folks in this jail when she got here. That's why she's on watch. The mental health professionals see her every day. They are not satisfied that she's safe. And it's up to them to decide it.
I'll give you an opportunity to respond, Mr. Scalzo. Mr. Toomey, one more thing before we move on into taking Chief Mack's testimony. Is there a specific procedure that the jail has for dealing with inmates with a threat of self-harm?
Hang on a second before we hear from this gentleman. Okay, first of all, Donna, when your attorney is arguing in files a motion, and in that motion she is claiming that you are getting, quote, weaker and weaker. Those were her words, not mine. It's not a good idea to shake your head, roll your eyes, and say things like, oh my God, okay? Maybe just shush, okay? After all, it is your words, ma'am, and actions, but what really got you arrested when you were arrested were your words. They were phone calls. So maybe limit your use of words, or don't, because it seems to be working out just swimmingly for you. All right, so let's hear from the officer here as to what he has to say. Also, I like the way he was about ready to walk away, like mic drop, and her attorney stood up, and then the judge was like, no, sit down, and you, sir, you come back here, and here we go. And that's where we're at now, in case you missed it.
Chief Mack, let me swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
If you can explain to me what the procedure is, Chief Mack, and from there, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Pimentel, I'll allow you to direct Chief Mack on any other matters you believe to be pertinent. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Anytime anyone makes a statement or we get evidence of someone wants to actually harm themselves, they're placed on direct observation. On direct observation, they receive a smock as well as a suicide blanket. And they're placed in an isolated room. It's just direct observation is what it really is. So we have a staff member outside the door that actually watches them around the clock, make sure they don't cause any harm to themselves.
When are the individuals who are under this status reevaluated for going back to general population?
That's done daily with ES care personnel.
Mr. Toomey, if you have any further examination for Chief Mack, I'll allow you to do so at this time.
Very briefly. Chief, is there a way for someone that's on suicide watch to have a direct visit with their lawyer?
Yes, we will pull the individual from the particular area that they're housed in and put them in an office with just the attorney. And
Are there any remote capabilities for someone who is in the suicide or close watch observation wing?
remote capabilities,
As far as phone calls, Zoom, tablets, things of that nature?
that person will be escorted to an office where we can actually see through the door, a glass window, and the officer will stand on the outside and just watch them from the outside.
And this is related to any concerns you have about self-harm?
Yes, that's because of we just keep constant view, keep them in vision, make sure that they don't do anything or pick up anything they can take back to the room and harm themselves later.
Mrs. Scalzo, do you have an examination for Chief Mack?
I do, Your Honor. May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Would you like me to proceed from here?
That's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Chief Mackey, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Matt, let me see
Chief
that.
Mack. Chief Mack. Have you listened to this 25-minute call that Ms. Adelson had before she was arrested?
Not in its entirety. I actually heard the portion where she was speaking of wanting to do a pact with her husband. I'm assuming that's who the individual was.
Chief Mack, do you participate in the decision on whether Ms. Adelson needs to remain on direct observation?
No, ma'am, that's a medical.
Okay, is the medical person that makes that decision a psychiatrist or another person?
That's Dr. Sapp.
So Dr. Sapp, is Dr. Sapp a psychiatrist?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if Dr. Sapp has examined Ms. Adelson?
She advised me that she spoke with her on different occasions or been around the area while another clinician was talking with her.
Well, how is Dr. Zapp?
Sapp.
Zapp. How is Dr. Zapp?
Sapp.
Zapp with a C, I'm sorry?
If you could spell it, Chief Mack.
SAPP. Sapp.
Zapp. So how is Dr. Zapp supposed to determine whether Mrs. Adelson can be removed from direct?
Okay, I have to pause for fair use commentary, you guys. I'm super sorry. She has been told 87 times how to pronounce Dr. Sapp. It's S-A-P-P. I heard it. It's Sapp, and yet here she comes. Okay, lady. Here we go.
Observation if she doesn't evaluate her.
From what I was advised, she has evaluated her and also other members of her staff.
Chief Mack, would it surprise you if Dr. Zapp has not evaluated Mrs. Adelson at all?
I couldn't say that I wouldn't think that she would tell me something that wasn't true.
Do you have a report from Dr. Zapp establishing, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't take, because of HIPAA laws, I don't necessarily get involved with medical paperwork of that nature.
Chief Mack, did you come to court today knowing that you were going to testify about whether or not Mrs. Adelson was on direct observation or not?
I knew I was supposed to be here, but the extent, I can't say I was privileged to told that I was going to actually testify, but I was prepared if I did.
And Chief Mack, knowing that you had to come here today possibly to testify, did you inquire how many times Dr. Zapp had met with Mrs. Adelson?
I did not, because they actually see everyone that's on direct daily, and it's more than just Miss Adelson.
Chief Mack, are you aware that Dr. Zapp has never evaluated or met with Mrs. Adelson?
I can only go what I've been told by Ms. Zapp.
Chief Mack, are you aware that Dr. Pugh is the only psychiatrist that has seen Mrs. Adelson, and that was on November 27th?
I didn't get that information as to who saw her. All I needed to know, or all I need to be privileged to, that she needed to be on direct observation.
Chief Mack, do you have a list of all the times that Mrs. Adelson has been evaluated to determine whether she can be removed from direct observation?
Like I previously said, the only time I know they see them daily. And with that, I don't get any paperwork because I'm not a medical professional. I'm just making sure that her safety is taken care of.
Of course, Chief Mack, but just to be clear, I'm not asking whether you've seen any paperwork. I'm asking, in preparation for coming here today, were you advised how many times she had visits?
No.
Did you ask how many times she had been visited?
Not just knowing that she's being seen daily. I don't ask who actually saw her or what the conversation was pertaining to.
Chief Mack, if she is being visited daily, would there be a report of those visits?
Yes, it should be notes that they take.
To the
Daily.
daily.
Right.
Okay. And Chief Mack, if what you're saying is what you were told is correct, there should be a report from Dr. Zapp and from whatever clinician is meeting her daily, right? About the evaluation.
Yes, I would assume it is.
And Chief Mack, did you know that Mrs. Adelson was actually arrested in Miami?
Yes.
Okay. And did you know that she spent some time in jail in Miami?
Yes.
And did you know that she was there for about 5 days before she was transported to Leon County?
It should be something like that, yes.
And
Okay, I got to pause for commentary again, you guys. Listen, ma'am, I understand that you're advocating for your client, and I appreciate that. That's your job. Mrs. Adelson has a right to counsel. Mrs. Adelson has a right to mount a vigorous defense. However, I'm going to need you to dial it back about 32 notches, ma'am. You're at an 82. I need you to be significantly lower. I'm going to need you to be at like a 5. Okay. So whatever that is, do the math, y'all. You're questioning him. First of all, your tone is terrible. He is not on trial here. This man makes the arrangements after the evaluation, whomever is the one in charge of evaluating her. I would imagine that the psychiatrist oversees clinicians who are the ones that actually come in and visit and speak and evaluate Mrs. Adelson. And then based on their recommendations, they tell the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist says, yeah, she probably needs to still be on observation. And then they go and they tell Mr. Mack here. All Mr. Mack does is make those arrangements possible so that she'll stay on observation. He's not in on the decision making. He's not allowed to read any of the reports or the notes because of HIPAA. Please calm down. And Donna, I thought you were frail. I have never seen a frail person wind their neck so far out to look around their attorney so that they can see the person who is testifying. This is simply a hearing. He is not your accuser, okay? You do have a right to face your accuser. That is what the trial is for. But this ain't that, ma'am. You ain't looking so frail. In fact, let me tell you what you are looking like, which this is, I am not on the jury. I'm not going to be called for jury. I live too far away. Okay. And I would be not ideal because I followed this case, and I don't know that I could reasonably put my things that I've heard aside and focus on what's being said only in the courtroom. I'm just being honest. I don't know if I could or not. Not in this case. Anyway, kind of invested in this one, been following it for a while. But what you're starting to look like is essentially what we heard from Charlie's trial, which is that you like to mix in. You're a meddler. You're a busybody. You're giving that impression. The optics are not good, ma'am. Chill out. It's just a hearing, okay? And even if they keep you on 25-8 observation, they're probably going to make accommodations for you, all right? So stop mouthing the words not once. Sit back. Sheesh. All right, here we go.
Were you aware that she was at a county jail, very similar to the Leon County Jail?
Well, I've never been to Miami's facility, so I can't tell you exactly what they do or what their policies are.
Okay. Chief Mack, were you aware that Mrs. Adelson was also on direct observation in Miami-Dade County for a period of time while she was there?
No, I didn't actually see any paperwork of it.
And Chief Mack, did anybody tell you, any of your clinicians tell you that actually Mrs. Adelson was evaluated by the same psychiatrist over a period of 72 hours in Miami, and she was released to general population?
I heard something of it, but I don't necessarily, I go by our contract provider when we doing anything in the MA health.
Who told you that she might have been evaluated in Miami and released to general population?
It was just something that was said. I think she may have spoken to an officer and said it.
Chief Mack, if she would have spoken to a clinician about that, you wouldn't know about that, right? Because that's HIPAA?
I wouldn't have known about it because I didn't speak to my clinicians. I just speak with them about Ms. Adelson in general.
What general conversations are you having about Mrs. Adelson with your clinicians, Chief Mack?
It's just how they evaluated her and where she is in her evaluation.
Okay.
If she's going to be released on a step down program or anything of that nature.
Okay, can you tell us generally what you have been told? What was her evaluation like? When will she be stepped down? What's happening?
That's something that they will tell me when that occurs, in the way of when she feels as though that Ms. Adelson is at that stage in the process. She will inform me of the step down process.
Who is she?
That's either of the Yes Care personnel. Normally, it's Dr. Sapp, Dr. Pugh, or Ms. Smith, Ms. Richardson, Corey Richardson.
Okay, so it's Ms. Richardson, Dr. Pugh, and Dr. Zapp. Those are the three people you're communicating with about Mrs. Adelson's treatment or step down process?
Periodically, I have a captain that actually is over medical, but I go through medical frequently.
Okay. Chief Mack, what did you do to prepare for today's hearing?
I actually just looked at some of the notes, even read the allegations concerning what Ms. Adelson was actually, I think it was more your allegations of what occurred in the facility.
What notes did you review before you came here, Chief Mack?
Other than looking at event logs, pretty much that was the extent of it.
What are event logs?
Event logs, what the officers said that actually on direct observation and documents what's happening while she's on direct observation.
Has there been anything that stood out to you in those event logs that the officers are leaving behind?
Mr. Scalzo, before this continues on, I want this to remain focused on the subject matter of the motion itself. This is not a deposition. If you have further examination, I'll allow you to finish.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I got to pause for commentary again. Listen, is it just me, or does it appear like wherever she went and had lunch today, they screwed up her order and she still ain't over it? Like, she's still mad, she's still holding a grudge, and poor Mr. Mack here is bearing the brunt of her furor because of her fury because she's mean. I mean, like, calm down, lady. It's not a trial. It's not a deposition. What did he need to prepare for? I've already went through this with you. Are you not hearing me, ma'am? Did before you came to court today, did you prepare? Did you read through the jail manual, as it were, and see what the procedures were and see who answers to whom? Did you do that? How prepared are you? Yikes on bikes, lady. Oof. Donna, you keep making them faces like that, and one of these times your face is gonna get stuck, ma'am. Lord, here we go.
Chief Mack, are you aware that the only person that has been communicating or evaluating Mrs. Adelson since the one time on November 27th that Dr. Pugh saw her is Miss Richardson?
Richardson. I'm not aware of who all. I know Miss Pugh seen her once, twice. I'm not sure, but it's just I'm getting information from my HSA and Dr. Sapp.
So to go back, you're saying Dr. Zapp has personally told you that Dr. Zapp has visited Mrs. Adelson?
She told me she was in the area with Miss Adelson. I don't know because I wasn't present as to what occurred during that meeting.
So what does it mean she's in the area? That she was around?
Yes, ma'am. That's what she advised me, that she was around.
Did you interpret that to mean that she evaluated Mrs. Adelson or that she was around Mrs.
I
Adelson?
interpreted it as she being present in the area.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Mr. Toomey, and I redirect.
Perhaps two. Chief Mack, Ms. Richardson, is she a mental health counselor?
Yes, sir.
All right. If there were notes regarding the interaction between mental health and the defendant in this case, where would those notes be?
I'm going to be in a medical file.
You recognize this document as her medical file. It's moving around a bit. It's been a day.
Yes, I would say that was a medical file.
All right. You know if anybody's asked for these besides me?
No, sir.
That's all good.
Chief Mack, you may take your seat. Mr. Toomey, the place I did want to start with there being a procedure in place is to assure that this is not random or arbitrary. Is there a procedure with regard to inmates with self-harm concerns or direct observation?
There is. It's standard in each and every jail. It is that until a mental health counselor or another mental health provider, like a psychiatrist or psychologist, is assured that that person does not possess or present a risk of self-harm, then they stay on that status. And they figure out where that status is by charting daily. A mental health counselor sees her.
Have you been able to provide a copy of either the policy or the patient file to Ms. Adelson's attorney?
I haven't been asked. I can tell you, before this motion was written, no one has asked for these medical records because I'm the final arbiter in this state for this claim. I decide whether the records are going out.
Very well. Moving on to the second issue that this raises, Mr. Scalzo.
Oh, snap. So you mean to tell me that you done wrote a whole file, right? You filed a whole thing. You wrote a whole motion and you filed it with the court, and you did not even bother to ask for the procedures in the jail, nor her medical record from the jail? Listen, You can call me because I could tell you what you should be asking for. Because guess what? We've been doing it for Letitia Stout since her trial ended. We've been requesting files on her because we know they exist and we know that we can ask for them, and some stuff may be given and some stuff may not. Now, as her attorney, obviously you would be privy to her medical records should she sign a release form. As I am the general public, I am not privy to that information. But don't you think that would be one of the first things that you should ask for, to understand the policies and the procedures before you go around accusing folks of violating the policies and the procedures, and thereby extension violating Mrs. Adelson's constitutional rights, as you have alleged? I mean, for Pete's sake, ma'am, you called what they were doing to her cruel and unusual. Becky, he is familiar. The reason he looks familiar to you, babe, is because he presided over Charlie Adelson's trial, and this is his mom. So we're in the same courtroom. We got the same judge, all the things. And also, oof, this is too much. All right, I'm going to play it. Here we go.
There is a very specific separation of powers issue that this poses for the court. The sheriff runs the jail. I run my courtroom. The DCAs have been fairly clear when it comes to the court essentially directing medical care, what goes on in the facility. It's basically a no-no without an actual violation of the Constitution. What is my authority to actually step in the situation and give you what you're asking for?
Your Honor, I believe that there has been a violation of the Constitution here. There is, Miss Adelson and I have not been permitted to talk behind this glass wall that they're speaking of. The first time we spoke was Friday. She was on speakerphone, I was on speakerphone, and she was sitting with a guard seated next to her. And the only way that that call was facilitated was because Miss Georgia Kappelman was nice enough to call the jail and arrange it. I have called the jail repeatedly over the past 22 days, begging to be permitted to either speak to Mrs. Adelson or for Mrs. Adelson to speak to me, and no one responds. As to Mr. Toomey's response that nobody has called him, nobody has asked him for records, I tried calling the general counsel's office repeatedly in the past week to try to resolve this issue. I understand what's being said today in court, and like I said in my motion, I understand that there's separation of powers, and I understand that the court is limited in what they can do in directing the jail. But I think that one thing that Your Honor can do is, you have heard that the jail, and Mr. Toomey said, he's the arbiter in the state. All jails run the same. The jail in Miami-Dade County cleared Mrs. Adelson, a psychiatrist, a mental health professional that works for the state, that works for the Department of Corrections, has said that she is not required to be on direct observation. She comes here and all of a sudden that changes. So I feel that there's some sort of disconnect. And I think that there needs to be a third party evaluating her to make the determination. And I think that that's not an unreasonable ask. That's something that the jail can accept. And I think the state is not opposed to that. So that's what I'm asking the court, to allow me to bring in my own mental health professional to evaluate Mrs. Adelson and make a determination whether or not she is a suicide risk, or for the jail to accept the determination or speak to the jailers in Miami-Dade County that observed her and made a completely different determination about her mental state.
Mr. Toomey, Mr. Pimentel, what administrative remedies are actually available to inmates absent the court stepping in?
That is a key question when it comes to injunctions. That's
Yes.
There are two means. First, that there's a grievance procedure in the jail that can and must be followed. Second, there is always civil suit, either in this courthouse or the fancy courthouse up the street. So there are legal avenues in place that preclude the entry of an injunction. There was something that was just said. I am not the arbiter for the state. I am for this client in the jails that they have in this state when it comes to sending out the medical records. It's either by release or by subpoena. The authority is there.
Mr. Pimentel, do you have anything further to argue on behalf of the sheriff?
Your Honor, I need to put something on the record first. James Pentel, General Counsel of the Sheriff's Office. I've been Sheriff McNeil's General Counsel for almost 7 years now. I've never heard from this attorney. I haven't heard from anyone representing this defendant. Any assertion, sir, that they've attempted to contact the Office of General Counsel. I have a paralegal. I have email. I've never been contacted by this defendant or this defendant's counsel.
Very well. I'm going to make my findings as follows. As to the issue of there being a Sixth Amendment violation where there is no access by Ms. Adelson to counsel of record, I cannot find that. However, Ms. Adelson being able to confer with counsel privately, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Pimentel, is there an ability to make accommodation for that even in the observation wing?
Yes, Your Honor, there is. Chief Mack and I will work to ensure that. We have a protocol, Your Honor.
Very well. What I would ask you to do then is please speak with defense counsel as to what accommodations can be made so she can visit with counsel privately as she prepares for her case. Obviously, there's a very voluminous amount of discovery that's already been provided by the state. Is that correct, Ms. Kappelman?
Yes, Your Honor.
She is going to need to be able to speak in private with her attorney and go through all documents, all records, all manner of evidence that the state is seeking to use as a part of its case in chief. Does she have ability to use either a computer or some form of multimedia while in direct observation?
Your Honor, she wouldn't be able to do it while in the direct observation cell, but we would make accommodations through security to make that occur.
Very well. According to the policy that you already have in place, when will her status as residing in direct observation be revisited?
Every day, Your Honor, on a daily basis.
Right, Mr. Scalzo, as to issuing an injunction against the jail, I do not believe I have the authority to do so. The District Court of Appeal rulings, and I'm specifically going to cite to Bradshaw versus Sandler. This is found at 955 Southern 2nd, 1219, 4th DCA case from 2007. That specifically dealt with a trial court who ordered a defendant to be taken to a dentist of his choosing. Similar, by analogy, for me to allow Ms. Adelson to be seen by a psychiatrist or psychologist that is a third party is stepping on the separation of powers in that regard. Until there's been an exhaustion of remedies with regard to whatever internal procedure is available for her to avail herself of regarding grievances or other matters with the jail, an injunction is not something that I can entertain at this point. Did you wish to be heard further?
No, Your Honor, not on this topic.
Ms. Kappelman, did you have anything further you wish to argue on behalf of the state? Right, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Pimentel, and Chief Mack, if you can get with defense counsel, I think that will eliminate next time the need to have any hearings on a basis such as this. Obviously, Ms. Adelson wants to prepare for her trial. She is entitled to do so, but the sheriff runs the jail. I fully recognize that, and I respect that. Do you wish to be heard further?
Nothing further.
Right, let's move on to the matter of the arraignment also while we were here this afternoon.
Well, there you have it. So essentially, whatever it is that Donna is telling the clinicians that see her on a daily basis leads them to believe that she is a continued risk. And so and they are not going to open themselves up to any liability. She is they're going to, I think, with her the same way that they did with in other jails have dealt with high profile cases, inmates. They're going to treat her with an abundance of caution because they don't want to open themselves up to any liability. And no, I can't. First of all, I do not think that there's bail for first degree murder here in Florida. I've not ever heard of it. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It's just I don't think that there is. And her charges are such that she would not be eligible for house arrest anyway. It isn't as if her medical conditions are such that she would require daily care by a doctor. And so there's no reason for her to be on house arrest. Thank you, Katrina. For gifting a membership. Congratulations to whomever got it. I can't see that she's going to get house arrest, but also, can y'all imagine now that she knows that there's a grievance process, how many kites this woman is going to write? Man, it's I can hardly wait for this to be over so that I can start requesting those jail records. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. Yikes. All right, here we go. Let's finish this out and then we'll chat a little bit and close it out. Don't want to keep you guys here too late. It's a work day. So here we go.
Afternoon as well.
Excuse me?
You are excused.
Your Honor, before they're excused, I would like them to provide me, yes, their business card so that I may contact them. Thank you.
That's fine.
I wrote to you on LinkedIn because I couldn't find you.
Just while they're chit-chatting briefly, she said that she had to look him up on LinkedIn because she couldn't figure out a way to contact him. I would like to bet $11 billion that if she had reached out
As to the matter of the arraignment, does your client waive the reading of the indictment?
I would bet $11 billion that if this attorney had reached out to one YouTube content creator, they would have found everything she ever wanted to know on this man, including a way to contact him about her client. That's all I wanted to say. Let's hear this arraignment. Here we go.
Yes, Your Honor.
How does she plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Not guilty plea is entered for the record. While we're here, we might as well have a brief case management as well. Ms. Kappelman, I believe you stated you've already provided discovery to the defense.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Scalzo, realistically, how much time do you think it's going to take you to go through what you've already received?
Your Honor, as long as I have access to Mrs. Adelson, as has been stated here in court, and she has access to be able, as you know, there's recordings in this case, and as long as she will listen to them and we're able to listen to them together, we plan to proceed to trial promptly.
Very well. I was thinking of when another case management date would be good to kind of keep a good status of this as far as where it's moving. Is February too early, or would you prefer March?
Oh, no, Your Honor, I'd like earlier. I don't, as long as I can communicate with Mrs. Adelson, I'm happy to have a status in January, if that works for the court and the state.
Ms. Kappelman?
Yes, sir. Available in January.
I definitely don't want to push too hard too fast, but once we get locked into a trial date, absent there being good cause, we're really not going backwards. I want you to give me realistic estimates as far as how much time it's going to take to prepare. As far as any depositions that you're already aware of that you are going to take in this matter, have you identified those? Have you noticed any?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Ma'am, my January is booked solid. We've got Chad Daybell. We've got Adam Montgomery, and now I'm going to have to deal with the meddling Meemaw, Donna. Whew. Brace yourselves, it's going to be busy at the ward. Here we go.
No, Your Honor, because I have not been able to discuss that with Mrs. Adelson.
Very well. We'll pick back up with this then in January for status. Cheyenne, if you could give me the dates for January. All right, we'll put it on January 9th. I believe that's Ms. Dugan's docket date. January 9th at 2:30. You may appear by Zoom if you need to. And we'll readdress the matter then. Does either party have anything further to address concerning case management, at least for today?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
We are in recess.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. Now, just so you guys know, I want to do a little bit more digging just to verify this, but I think this is correct. I'm like 90% sure that this is correct. So way back when, okay, when, and we heard it during Charlie Adelson's trial, okay? So they want the law enforcement wanted desperately to speak with Donna and Harvey Adelson. And if I'm not mistaken, the lawyer that you saw today in court, oh, thank you, Barbie, welcome. The lawyer that you saw today in court, we saw today in court, is the lawyer that represented her. It's I read it to you guys in the indictment. We talked about it was in the indictment, and in the indictment they talked about there being communication between the state and the Adelson's attorney, and that she would make the Adelsons available to them, and then they basically ghosted the state. And I think that this is the same attorney, and if so, yikes on bikes. And yes, the status hearing is an update, and at that point, they will start working towards getting to trial. I'm sure that there's going to be a few things. I'm sure there's like going to be a hearing about the evidence as far as, you know, what's going to be admitted, what's not going to be admitted. Oh, yes. And I almost forgotten. How could I forget this? Sarah Boone. I know that the last time I checked, which was, I don't know, probably a couple of weeks ago, I looked at Orange County, at her docket specifically, and I didn't see anything as far as like a status hearing or anything since she has been assigned this new attorney. So I'll let you guys know. I will keep you guys posted. I'm quite curious and interested in what the future holds for Wendy Adelson. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't think this bodes well for Wendy, and I don't know whether they will arrest her before they, have tried Donald Adelson, before her trial has come to its conclusion or not. I don't know. I have to think about that one. Oh, thank you, that Carly Armstrong. Welcome. Thank you for joining memberships. Welcome to the 11 Billion Club. It's good to have you. So that's kind of all that I had for you guys tonight. It seems like we're going to have a very busy month. Allie and Crime Curious and I have ordered some more calls. And so we'll, hopefully we'll get those soon, and we'll have that content for you. really quickly before I forget, let me, I think I still have it. Yes. This is the link to my Patreon. I will be doing my first Patreon over there Saturday night. I hope to see you guys there. I'll keep you updated, if, like right now, I think there's 5 over there. Hopefully I get some more. But then I'm also this weekend going to do or this week, maybe Wednesday night, I think, do a members only live, just to chat and catch up with you guys. I've missed you. And I just want to have, a members only live for everybody. So it'll be all the levels. But anyway, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow night. MK, look at you. MK Lynn. You're just a little peach. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. And I want to give a special shout out to Nadie. Y'all, I'm dropping this link again. Y'all got to get these music melts. I'm telling you right now, I have her Ho 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 Holiday, or Ho 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 Hopeful. That's what it is. Ho Ho Hopeful. And it smells like freshly baked sugar cookies. It is delicious. You guys have got to get over there. Remember to use my code Queen, Ho Ho Hopefully. See, I'm so bad with these names. Ho Ho Hopefully. It smells so good. I got Overjoyed, and I forget the other one, but I and the blueberry one. But anyway, as I test them out, I will be giving you guys the full review. But they are delicious. They make the whole house smell fantastic. All right, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you so very, very much for being here. Welcome to the new members. Thank you for the gifted memberships. I appreciate your support immensely. If you guys could do me just one favor and give your girl a thumbs up on the stream, I would also appreciate that greatly. It's a free way to support the channel, and it helps a lot. And that's kind of all I have for you guys. And we will thank you, honey. And yay, Stevie's mom got a membership to all 4 girls. Look, you got the set. Woohoo! Thank you guys all for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow night, and we are going to go over Charlie Adelson's sentencing. Okie dokie. I will drop her link one more time. This link that I'm dropping right now is Nadie's link. She won't, if you ask Nay, she will never drop it. She gets very embarrassed, but there it is right there. The one that says Nadie has the best melts. There's her link. There's the code. Use it. I promise you, you will not regret it. She, let's support our small businesses. And plus she's just really a cool chick in general, all the way around. I adore her, and she knows it. All right, you guys, for reals, I'm getting off of here. Good night. Thank you guys so much for being here. Until tomorrow, au revoir.